Alright, Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory belong to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, double honors unto the elders and to the apostles of great millstone, and salutations to the all for the elect. Alright, the men that are pushing this truth in the four corners and the highways and byways. Alright, this is your brother Yakal from GMS Guyana coming at you with another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright, in this lesson basically gonna be going into budgeting. All right, budgeting, and I know that it's a bit different compared to what we would usually go into, which is the prophecies and different things that's going on in the world today. But the scriptures tell you that the laws of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is the law of life. All right, it tell you that in the Apocrypha, and then here in Acts chapter 5 verse 20 it says, "Go, stand and speak in the temple of the people all the words of this life." All right, and that was commanded to the apostle, and likewise us today, and that's what we're doing. We speaking to the people all the words that pertaining to this life. All right, there is now one thing about this life that we would not have knowledge about. You understand? And it's these little things that that really help us with that balance in the word. All right, with our daily lives, understanding how to budget and use your money, because the scripture tell you that um wisdom is a defense and money is a defense, but the love of knowledge is above them, is most important, roughly paraphrasing. You understand? So you could get the money, but if you don't have the wisdom to use it, then it doesn't make sense. All right, it won't be a defense unto you, but rather you're gonna become a curse, a stumbling block. You understand? So um that's the reason for this lesson. All right, because I do see how people would make money. All right, but they're still in the same place, because now that they're making more money, all right, they find unnecessary things to do. All right, and before I go into some scriptures, I wanted to show, go into this article a little bit. um This is an article about budgeting, the Kakibo, all right, the Japanese budget method explained, all right. And this was, modified last on May 4th. So it says Kakibo, a century-old budgeting technique from Japan, helps you to spend mindfully and save more, all right, and no technology is needed. All right. It says Kakibo is more than a budgeting method. It's a financial philosophy centered on mindful, deliberate spending and saving. All right. It says it sounds lofty, but it's simple to practice and tailor to your lifestyle. All right. It says devotees and promoters promise Kakibo users can save 35% on monthly expenses, and while I didn't hit that exact figure, I was surprised how much cash it helped me save. But really, it doesn't help you to save um 35% of your monthly expenses, but rather what it allows you to do is to see where you're spending money unnecessarily. All right, and that money would then come in handy or help you to save. You understand? And by having those notes, so on and so forth, it allow you to see where your money is going and where it's is going unnecessarily. All right, and by doing so, it allows you to budget even better and plan for the next month and the next month and whatever it is. All right. Um. So basically, I'll try to put this link in the description. All right, and you brothers can go and read through it. But one of the reasons why I wanted to point this out is because in Japan, all right, this method is taught in school, all right, and it's endorsed by the government. You see, and it has some history to it where um, you know the economy of Japan, it spiked because as they endorsed this method and they taught it in school, and more persons were practicing it, they saw a better livelihood, all right, and the wealth was being circulated in a certain way. You understand? So likewise, these are things that we could apply, all right, so that we don't find ourselves in financial backlogs, where you make, X amount of money, and within 2 to 3 weeks, it's done because of idleness or you not knowing how to budget your money. All right. Um, so basically, let me see, just to make a quick point. Yeah, it says Kakibo gets its name from Japanese term meaning household financial ledger. Essentially, a Kakibo is a physical budgeting journal. Users answer some financial questions and set saving goals. They track their expenses, put their purchases in categories, and review expenses at the end of the month. All right, and this is scriptural. All right, for example, in the book of Luke, it tell you that you know, if you have to count the cost before you start building a house. All right, and how you would count the cost is by putting everything into categories and breaking it down, and then to see, based on how your finances is coming in, if you'll be able to build this house or not. All right, and that's counting the cost. But here's a even better scripture that goes hand in hand with using tracking your expenses, all right, in different categories. And so this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 42 and verse I start at 1. It says, of these things be not ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby, of the law of the Most High and his covenant, and of the judgment to justify the ungodly, of reckoning with the partners and travelers, or of the gift of the heritage of friends, or of exactness of balance and weights, or of getting much or little. All right, and or of exactness of balance of weight. All right, you have to, if you know that you're paying X money for for this product or this service, you have to demand, the value for the product or service that you're paying for. All right, and that's you being keeping in accordance with the scripture. It says, and of merchants indifferent selling, and of much correction of children, and to make the sight of an evil servant to bleed. All right, verse 6, it says, sure keeping is good, and where an evil wife is, shut up, where many hands are. Now, this is the point. It says, deliver all things in number and weight, all right, and put all in writing that thou givest out, or thou receivest in. All right, and this is the point, that you have to deliver all things in number and in weight. All right, basically keep records or keep track of every single thing. And then it goes on to say, and put all, slack here, it says, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in. And that's the point. All right. For example, if you know that you have more than one sources of income, all right, that's you what receiving in. You understand? And then whatever thou givest out, you put it in writing as well, which is what? Your expenses, the bills, your rent. For example, if you make $50 a month and your rent is $35, you have to budget for your rent and your groceries and whatnot, and then leisure and whatever it is could come after. But then you would find persons putting leisure in front, all right, and then when they get, that $50 or $40, whatever the salary is, and they put the leisure in front, they end up spending out the money which was supposed to be budgeted for the rent and for the groceries and whatnot, and now they end up in a financial backlog or deficit. All right. Um, Yeah, this is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6. It says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider our ways, and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provide our meat in the summer, and gathereth our food in the harvest." And this going into, you basically foreseeing the times to come, all right, and making preparation, all right. But bringing it back to the lesson, it's the same thing we're doing, because obviously, if you're making money on a monthly basis, all right, then you can't try to live a day-to-day life. You have to budget in such a way that they're going to run you until, you know the harvest again, which is the next payday. You see. But if you try to live a day-to-day life, you drop pay today, and you use the money, and you don't store up meat, all right, you don't budget and make provision for the winter, then you're gonna be caught off guard. All right, is this the same thing apply? This is Proverbs 22 and verse 1. Um, yeah, Proverbs 22 verse 3 says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." All right, it says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple are passed on." All right, and take for example, sometime in 2020, when they had the lockdown in March, April, so on. All right, you couldn't, you know, just say, "Hey, I would, be moving slacky." Let me see how to phrase it properly, right? You couldn't live a life where you had that amount of leisure or that amount of free time. All right, you couldn't say, "Hey, if I don't have this particular item, I could just get up and go and pick it up at the grocery." You have to do it in such a way where you was making provision for the times. You probably store up, some peas, dry food, all right, probably some crackers or whatever it is that would allow you to have sustenance for a period of time. All right, and hey, the scripture do say, "My servants shall eat," all right, "and they shall mourn," referring to the times that is to come, and the Most High will provide for us. But at the same time, you still have to be wise. All right, you still have to look to the ant, like the scripture say, and make provision. You still have to do as this scripture say, to foresee the evil and hide yourself, and not be foolish and pass on, meaning carry on as though ain't nothing going on. He says, "And are punished." All right. So, with that being said, I want to pull up a simple budgeting uh, template, which I found in Microsoft Excel. Now, I don't use this per se, but this is a good example. All right. And then it actually break it out by different categories, and you'll be able to give a projected cost, or what you expect the cost to be, and then an actual cost, all right, which is what the cost of the item or items would have been within that specific period, and then it would tell you what the difference is. So whether you're above or below, all right, and then they break it out by housing and I, housing and bills, your mortgage, your phone, your electricity, transportation. Whether you have a vehicle, or you probably take the bus or a taxi, um, insurance, food, your groceries, whether you dine out every now and again, if you have pets. Now, some of them I personally think is unnecessary, but this is just the template that I found in Microsoft Excel. So I didn't really remove anything, but just to leave it as it is, because probably, if you have a pet or whatever it is, you ought to take care of them. All right. Personal care, whether your medical, hair, nails, clothing, um, so on and so forth, and entertainment and leisure. And scripture do tell you to do good unto yourself, so something that you are to factor in as well. All right, and make that time to do good unto yourself. All right, whether you have loans, taxes, saving or investment, gifts or donation, which I don't think is necessary, but hey, um, legal, attorney, alimony, it really doesn't have any weight for me. But just being able to demonstrate whatever it is. All right, and as you populate the values, then it will tell you, whether you're above or below compared to your projection and your income. All right, so if you have more than one income, your extra income, so on and so forth, and you'll be able to budget and basically manage your finances much better. you know and this is something that the school system would never teach. All right, because obviously they want to keep you in a steady state of slavery. All right, where the only thing you're working for is to return to work, is to eat and return to work. All right, nothing else. All right, so Lord's will that this lesson was edifying, and give our praises honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors unto the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the open elect, the men that are pushing this truth in the four corners and highways and byways. Shalom.